Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel Legal Decipher. In the previous video we had discussed about some offences relating to property under chapter 17 of IPC. If you have not seen that video, you can go and check it. The link is in the description below. In this video we will discuss about some other offences relating to mischief and criminal trespass and understand the substance therein. So if you are new here, please like and subscribe to my channel to get the video notifications. So let's get started. So today we are going to understand the offence mischief and criminal trespass and all the variations of these two offences. Section 425 talks about mischief. So whoever intends to cause, or if he knows that this will likely to cause wrongful loss or damage to the public or to any person, causes the destruction of any property or any such change in any property or in the situation thereof as destroys or diminishes its value or utility or affects it injuriously, is said to have committed the offence of mischief. So there are a number of things that involves under the offence mischief. First of all, the person intends to cause wrongful loss, or he knows that he is doing such kind of an act that will cause wrongful loss or damage to what? To the public or to any person, and therefore he causes destruction of any property, or he does any such change in any property that will destroy or diminish the value or utility of such property, or it will affect the property in a very injurious manner or way, then that person will be committing a mischief. Now explanation says that it is not essential to the offence of mischief that the offender should intend to cause loss or damage to the owner of the property injured or destroyed. It is sufficient if he intends to cause or knows that he is likely to cause wrongful loss or damage to any person by injuring any property, whether it belongs to that person or not. So if he is doing damage to that property, then that is enough. He does not need to know who the owner of that property is. And explanation 2 says that mischief may be committed by an act affecting property belonging to the person who commits the act or to that person and others jointly. So if he is jointly the owner of that property which also belongs to some other person and he does such kind of act, then that will also be counted as a mischief. Section 426 talks about punishment for mischief. It says whoever commits mischief shall be punished with imprisonment of either discretion for a term which may extend to 3 months or with fine or with both. Section 427 talks about mischief causing damage to the amount of 50 rupees. So if he causes damage to the amount of 50 rupees, then that will be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 2 years or with fine or with both. And section 428 talks about mischief by killing or maiming animal of the value of 10 rupees. So if he kills or maims any animal, the value of which animal is 10 rupees, and he kills that animal or poisons it or maims it or renders it useless, then he will be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 2 years or with fine or with both. Now mischief by killing or maiming cattle of any value or any animal of the value of 50 rupees will be covered under section 429, and if he does so to any animal by killing, poisoning, maiming or rendering it useless, and those animals may be any kind of animal that includes elephant, camel, horse, mule, buffalo, bull, cow or ox, whatever may be it. If it is up to the value of 50 rupees or upwards, then he shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 5 years or with fine or with both. Section 430 talks about mischief by injury to works of irrigation or by wrongfully diverting water. So whoever damages the irrigation process or wrongfully diverts the water from the irrigation fields to any other way, then he will be committing a mischief and he will be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 5 years or with fine or with both. Section 431 talks about mischief by injury to public road, bridge, river or channel. So if he does any injury to these things, then he will be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 5 years or with fine or with both. Section 432 talks about mischief by causing inundation or obstruction to public drainage attended with damage. So if he damages the public drainage or obstructs it, then he will be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 5 years or with fine or with both. Now section 433 talks about mischief by destroying, moving or rendering it less useful to a lighthouse or a sea mark. So if he destroys, moves or renders it less useful of a lighthouse or a sea mark and thereby creates problems to the navigators, then he shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 7 years or with fine or with both. Now section 434 talks about mischief by destroying or moving etc. a landmark fixed by public authority. So if a landmark is fixed by a public authority and this person is destroying or moving it, then he shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 year or with fine or with both. Section 435 talks about mischief by fire or explosive substance with intent to cause damage to amount of 100 or in case of agricultural produce 10 rupees. So if he does so, if he destroys such agricultural produce or any other property by fire or explosive substance, then he will be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine. Section 436 talks about mischief by fire or explosive substance with intent to destroy a house. Now he is using fire or explosive substance to destroy a house, then he will be punished with imprisonment for life or imprisonment for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Section 437 talks about mischief with intent to destroy or make unsafe a decked vessel or one of 20 tons burden. So if a decked vessel which is of a 20-ton burden or any other vessel, so if he destroys it or commits mischief to intend to destroy it, then he shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Section 438 talks about punishment for the mischief described in section 437 committed by fire or explosive substance. So whoever causes mischief that is described in section 437 and it is committed by fire or explosive substance, then that person will be punished with imprisonment for life or up to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Section 439 talks about punishment for intentionally running vessel aground or ashore with intent to commit theft etc. So whoever does so will be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Section 440 talks about mischief committed after preparation made for causing death or hurt. So if the mischief was committed after preparing for causing death or hurt, then that person will be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 5 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now let's move on to the next part of this chapter that deals with criminal trespass. So section 441 talks about criminal trespass. It says whoever enters into or upon any property in the possession of another with intent to commit an offense or to intimidate, insult or annoy any person in possession of such property. So there is a property, an immovable property, and a person is the actual owner and possessor of that property, and another person who has nothing to do with that property actually enters upon that property and he has the intention to commit an offense or to intimidate, that means cause fear or insult or annoy that person who is in possession of that property. Or if such person has lawfully entered into such property, unlawfully remains there. So when he entered into that property, he was entering in a lawful manner, but now his stay or remain in that property is unlawful. So the reasonable time for being into such property that made it lawful has now expired, and now he is remaining in that property in a unlawful manner, and thereby he intimidates or insults or annoys such person, or he has intention to commit an offense. Then in all those cases he shall be deemed to have committed the offense of criminal trespass. Now, section 442 talks about house trespass. It says whoever commits criminal trespass by entering into or remaining in any building, tent or vessel used as a human dwelling, or any building used as a place of worship or as a place of custody of property is said to commit house trespass. So whoever commits criminal trespass into a building, tent, vessel that is used for human dwelling or used as a place of worship or used as a place for the custody of any property, then that will be termed as a house trespass. Explanation says that the introduction of any part of the criminal trespasser's body is entering sufficient to constitute house trespass. So even if he has put one leg inside, then that will also be counted as a house trespass. Section 443 defines lurking house trespass as an act by which person commits house trespass after having taken precautions to conceal such house trespass from some person who has a right to exclude or eject the trespasser. So this person has the right to exclude or eject such trespasser, but that trespasser knows about this person and he wants to trespass inside that house, and for doing so he has made such kind of concealment or precautions or preparations that such trespass cannot be traced out, and thereby he has actually trespassed into that building, tent or vessel that is the subject of such trespass. If he has taken that kind of precautions or if he has concealed his trespass inside such house, then that will be termed as lurking house trespass. Now if that kind of lurking house trespass is committed during the night hours, that means after sunset and before sunrise, then that will be termed as lurking house trespass by night, and that is covered under section 444. Now what is house breaking? Section 445 talks about house breaking. It says a person is said to commit house breaking who commits house trespass if he effects his entrance into the house or any part of such house in any of the 6 different ways that are mentioned hereafter, or if he has been inside that house or any part of that house for the purpose of committing an offense, or having committed an offense therein, he quits the house in any of these 6 ways. Firstly, if he enters or quits through a passage made by himself, so he has actually made a passage by himself to enter or exit that house, or he has done so by any abettor so that he can commit house trespass. Secondly, if he enters or quits through any passage not intended by any person other than himself or the abettor of the offense for human entrance. So he has actually made that passage for himself or the abettor only and none other. So if he has made such kind of passage to obtain access by scaling or climbing over any wall or building for entering or exiting that premises, then that will also fall under house breaking. Thirdly, if he enters or quits through any passage which he or any abettor of the house trespass has opened in order to the committing of the house trespass by any means in which it was not intended by the occupier to be opened. Fourthly, if he enters or quits by opening any lock in order to commit house trespass or in order to quit the house after a house trespass. So if he had made any passage or if he had picked any lock, all of these will be falling under the offense of house breaking. Fifthly, if he effects his entrance or departure by using criminal force or committing an assault or by threatening any person with assault. So if he actually uses force or assault to enter or exit into that property or from that property, then that will also fall under this offense. Sixthly, if he enters or quits by any passage which he knows to have been fastened against such entrance or departure and to have been unfastened by himself or by an abettor of the house trespass. So that entrance or exit was fastened, but he has unfastened it. He has actually unlocked it or opened it for the entry or exit to that property or from that property. Then if he has done so for committing any offense, then that will also be falling under the offense of house trespass. Now, explanation says any outhouse or building occupied with a house and between which and such house there is an immediate internal communication is part of the house within the meaning of this section. So say for example there is a main house and there is an outhouse, and the place that falls in between is a part of both of these two properties, then that will also be a part of the house according to the meaning of this section if there is an immediate internal communication between those two properties. Section 446 talks about house breaking by night. So whoever commits house breaking after sunset and before sunrise, then he will be committing house breaking by night. Now 447 talks about punishment for criminal trespass. It says whoever commits criminal trespass shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 months, or with fine which may extend to 500 rupees, or with both. Now punishment for house trespass is covered under section 448. The person who commits such offence shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 year, or with fine which may extend to 1000 rupees, or with if some person house trespasses in order to commit offence that is punishable with death, then he will be punished under section 449 with imprisonment for life or with rigorous imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Section 450 talks about house trespass in order to commit offense punishable with imprisonment for life. So whoever commits house trespass in order to commit an offense that is punishable with imprisonment for life, then he will be punished with imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Section 451 talks about house trespass in order to commit offense punishable with imprisonment. So if he does so, then he will be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 2 years and shall also be liable to fine. And if the offense intended to be committed is theft, then the term of imprisonment may be extended to 7 years. Now section 452 talks about house trespass alter preparation for hurt, assault or wrongful restraint. So whoever commits house trespass having made preparation to cause hurt, assault or wrongful restraint, then that person will be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now section 453 talks about punishment for lurking house trespass or house breaking. So whoever commits these two kinds of offences, then he shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 2 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now lurking house trespass or house breaking in order to commit offence punishable with imprisonment is covered under section 454, and that person shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years and shall also be liable to fine. And if the offence was intended to be committed is theft, then that imprisonment will be extended to 10 years. Now lurking house trespass or house breaking after preparation for hurt, assault or wrongful restraint will be covered under section 455, and that person will be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now section 456 talks about punishment for lurking house trespass or house breaking by night. So whoever commits that kind of offence shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now section 457 talks about lurking house trespass or house breaking by night in order to commit offence punishable with imprisonment. In that case, that person will be punished under section 457 imprisonment for a term which may extend to 5 years and shall also be liable to fine. And if the offence that was intended to be committed is theft, then in that case the term of imprisonment may be extended to 14 years. Section 458 talks about lurking house trespass or house breaking by night after preparation of hurt, assault or wrongful restraint. So if such person was trying to commit any that kind of offence, then he will be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 14 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now section 459 talks about grievous hurt caused while committing lurking house trespass or house breaking. So if a person who was committing lurking house trespass or house breaking actually committed grievous hurt along with it, then that person will be punished with imprisonment for life or imprisonment for term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Section 460 talks about all persons jointly concerned in lurking house trespass or house breaking by night punishable where death or grievous hurt caused by one of them. So if a number of persons try to commit an offence that falls under the definition of lurking house trespass or house breaking by night, and while doing so one of them has committed death or grievous hurt, then in that case every person jointly concerned in committing such lurking house trespass by night or house breaking by night shall be punished with imprisonment for life or with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now section 461 talks about dishonestly breaking open receptacle containing property. So if someone intends to commit mischief or breaks open or unfastens any closed receptacle which contains or which he believes to contain any kind of property, then he shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 2 years or with fine or with both. Now section 462 talks about punishment for same offence when committed by person entrusted with custody. So if that offence was committed by any person who was entrusted with custody of that property, he actually opened any closed receptacle and he did so dishonestly with the intent to commit mischief, then he shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years or with fine or with both. So that's all in this video. If you like my videos, then don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video.